Thanks for watching the Beyond the Bell podcast. This is the inaugural episode. While the audio and video isn't exactly what I wanted, I didn't want to keep postponing and try to continue to have paralysis by analysis. This is a perfect example of what the podcast is about. It's raw and real. The podcast is inspired by myself, my life, and others. And my goal is to connect people, mainly younger kids, teens, young adults, with opportunities after high school or after their sports career. The podcast is going to focus on financial, spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical fitness. And my goal, again, is to find businessmen, companies, individuals that want to mentor and sponsor or provide jobs for youth coming from different walks of life, and really be able to show what hard work and dedication can do, and to inspire them to not go back to a life of negativity, sometimes crime, or just a life that's mundane. I've walked that path, and luckily for me, I had someone in my life that helped ground me and helped me understand that my life personally wasn't as bad as what my mind was making it out to be. Things could have been much worse. There are people in this world that go through much worse things, and they're successful. And I want to be able to share some of these stories. And some of these people may continue to go through struggles. They may be going through a struggle while they're on the podcast, or maybe they're successful and they've come out of it. But the podcast is going to be real. It's going to be raw. We're going to interview amateur and professional MMA fighters and boxers, businessmen, business people, religious leaders, political leaders. I want it to be all encompassing, to bring a story to people that you're not seeing on TV, or you're not seeing on the internet, or you're not seeing put in front of your face. There are truly inspirational stories out there. I don't want it to be a 30-second Instagram clip, and I don't want it to be something that someone thinks is unobtainable. I myself am still trying to change and get better as a person, as a father, and I want this podcast to really serve as a beacon of hope and inspiration for anyone and everyone that's listening to it, that life sucks. We know that. Sometimes you've got to go through really bad things to really test yourself and find out who you truly are. There are people that are going through the same things. It's not just you. But ultimately, the goal in life should be to be a better person than what you are today, and pass that information and pass that along to your children or to others. So today, the first episode is going to be Rosario Solis, a veteran police officer and the program director for the Irving Police Athletic League, where they inspire and train young children from the age of 8 all the way on up through 18, and sometimes a little older, in their athletics program. And they have a few other programs, but the athletics and the boxing is what he focuses on. He's the program director for the boxing. And it's a great story. It's a short one. And in the future, we're going to have many different people going to be ranging in time. Please watch the video, like, share, subscribe, and leave some comments. It'll help me get better. Thanks. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey guys, Rosario Solis with the police department. I've been a police officer here for 34 years now. At this point, I am the Police Athletic League officer or coordinator.
Excellent. And how long has the Irving Pal been around?
Since 1992.
Wow. Okay. And what would you say is the overall goal or mission of the PAL?
Bridging the gap between the youth and the police officers.
Yeah, very important.
Obviously, when we started back in '92, Irving had not just Irving, but I think most cities in the Texas or the United States, we were having some issues with the gang. So, Officer Rubacaba and Sergeant Hammer back then decided they were going to start a PAL program, and it started just as a boxing program. As a matter of fact, it started off at Rubacaba's garage, converted to a gym. Obviously, that didn't last long. Quickly, the chief was able to get us some space over at Plymouth Park Shopping Center. We were there from '92 to '95. Again, it was strictly just boxing. As a matter of fact, I wasn't there at the point, but one of the kids was sitting in the street bag, and the swivel came off and hit one of the kids in the tooth, and it cracked his tooth. And we're like, his shows.
Oh, shoot.
So real quickly, we became one of the chapters for the Police Activities League, Athletic League, and then we also became members of USA Boxing.
Excellent. USA Boxing is a big part of it. Can you share a little bit about your history with USA Boxing and what that means?
Sure. So you become members of USA Boxing. There's a fee, obviously, for the club, and then for the athletes, the boxing members. When you pay your insurance, obviously the kids are covered by insurance. So obviously, when you become members of USA Boxing, so again, the kids are covered by insurance, and when there's a sanction or a tournament, we have free access to it.
Yeah. So the overall goal has been to, like you said, bridge the gap. What kind of successes have you seen come out of the program? You've been doing this for a long time. I'm sure you've seen successes and failures, but
we've had kids. We've had kids that have gone into police officers within our city and other departments. We've had several kids that have joined the service to serve our country. Sanchez, she was the very first national female champion from our gym. If I'm not mistaken, I believe she was the first national female champion from the state of Texas. She's now, she became a doctor of chiropractic. Our main goal is to keep bridge the gap with the police and the youth, right? But also to keep them off the streets where they're in a safe environment, by and being mentored by police officers and people from the community.
Yeah, that's excellent. I mean, that's obviously this is the inaugural episode of the podcast, and the inspiration came from the Irving Pal and what I've seen, and something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I've been in the situation of being younger and kind of aimless in some manner.
Right.
Both of my parents were in the household, but supportive, but just really without a guidance. And having had someone in my life that kind of helped ground me and give me some work ethic and help me in some other ways. Seeing what you guys are doing here is just, it kind of came together. And the podcast is all about spiritual fitness, emotional fitness, physical fitness, mental fitness, financial fitness. And, this is the starting point of it. And to branch out. And one of the goals personally with the podcast and other endeavors is to help the kids after the fact. Some of the kids are going to go pro, right? And some of them aren't, or some of them may reach to go pro, but they may not get to that point. Right. And so, tell me about some of the sponsors and how that plays a role into what they're doing other than getting to the next, getting to the tournaments, things like that.
Right. So, again, all this would not be possible if it wasn't for the sponsors that are donated to our program. From the city, from the police department, from businesses within from within the city of Irving. We have the Linda Moose, we have Ralph and Joy Ellis, S&T Plumbing,
dozens.
Driver, Toyota of Irving, Driver Pipeline, Toyota of Irving, send more. I wish I had a list, but
Yeah, that's
and I think that's one thing that I guess as a director of Propel, I am failing on that part is to recognize our sponsors, whether it be like on a weekly basis or just year round. Website is kind of outdated, so we're hoping to update to we have you can see the a banner or a ribbon where it's just showing our yearly sponsors. Again, and that's on me. So, but again, all this would not be possible. Again, all the volunteers. We're all. I get paid to run the police athletic through the police department, but all my coaches are all volunteers. To another sport, whether it be archery, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, tennis.
and that's something that really stood out to me. You've got coaches in here, and I asked Alan, are these guys like volunteers? They're all volunteers. Talking with a couple of the kids, they really respond well to them, and it's just like a lot of the kids. I mean, at least the ones I talk to, they love being here. I mean, they're essentially volunteer to come here.
This is their second home.
Yeah,
I feel like this is my second home. I've probably spent more time with the kids from the PAL program than I have my own kids. But
sorry, kids.
My girls are all grown now, but they know this, what's behind it. But it's a passion of mine. I'll keep doing this until I can.
And that's I mean I think in the world that we come from with programs like this getting dropped in a lot of locations. I mean that's what I wanted to attach with you guys and try to help is I see the vision and the bigger picture of it. And again, personally, the passion that I have is helping the kids transition out of these types of things and into the business world or the service world or technicians or any other type of job that they want to get into or go to college. And so I want to use the podcast to be a beacon of sponsorship and mentorships. I've already spoken with a few businesses and individuals that are willing to, reach out and partner with some of the youth here. If some of them want to get into certain fields of work, they're willing to bring them on. And I want to find more businesses and more companies and more people that are willing to help, just give these guys skill and other things. I was, I would say 19 when I got into sales, and I really found a kind of a home for my personality. And it took years to hone skills and get confidence. And when I finally got into the flow of things, like I was a different person. I'm still working on myself personally, but I really feel at some point I was able to get to a perspective of the surroundings makes a big difference. Mm-hmm. If you're under a lot of pressure or your surroundings just aren't right, I think that it can affect who you are as a person negatively. And when you're in the right surrounding, you can see a different side of you. And I think, you've probably seen multiple cases where the kids start off one way and end up, whether it's negative or positive.
And I think, a lot of that, for the majority of the time, the kids that are coming here, while they're here, they're staying out of trouble. It's when they stop coming here, it's when they start getting in trouble, or they start hanging out with other kids that are not, PAL members. Because, right now we try to run our program pretty structured, right? If there's no structure, you're going to get off the road or, start going the wrong way. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of the kids have been successful or they've stayed out of trouble because they come here on a regular basis. I mean, again, we've had some kids that have gotten in trouble. It strikes in your out program. In my whole career that I've been here, I've never had to kick anybody out. Awesome. Have kids stop coming because we're hard on them? Yes, but we never had to kick anybody out.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and about the structure. So we're talking, mainly talking about boxing and things, but the athletics program, and I know that there's a transition So if a young person wants to come in, what's the process for them to either go to the athletic program or the boxing program?
So everyone starts in the physical fitness program. Coach Don Bulky, he's ran my program since '93, almost when we started. His son was a sheriff officer in LA County. And so when he did a ride-along program, his son took him to some of the palace in LA. And when he got back, I got a phone call. Hey, I would like to. Sure. Again, he's been with us since then. He's going on 78, I believe.
Wow,
He's still kicking it.
that's awesome.
Yeah. And again, a lot of the kids, I feel like they look up to him. Again, if we have 80 kids in the fitness program, he handles them. If we have 5 kids, he handles them. But he would rather have 100 kids than have 20 kids. That's just his
Yeah.
passion.
Yeah. And so that's where they can kind of show their physical fitness and maybe work on some of that. I wish I had that growing up. And then they can, I guess, request, or you see them in the fitness program.
A lot of the kids say they want to get into the boxing program. They don't want to do the workout. They just want to get into the ring, and we don't need that. So again, they start at the fitness level. They kind of work their way up or earn their way up into the boxing program if that's what they want to do. The kids in the boxing program are kids that they want to box, not kids that we force them to box. It's only for those that actually want to take part in the boxing program. We also have other activities. We have the jiu-jitsu program. We have the archery program. For the fitness level, the ages requirement is 8 to 18. The jiu-jitsu and the archery is 10 to 18.
And the boxing program.
Boxing is 8 to 18. Now once you can turn 18, 19, 20, 21, as long as you're being a positive role model in our community, we'll let you stay.
That's awesome.
You just don't take anybody over 18
Yeah.
that want to start learning how to box.
Yeah.
I normally refer them to another gym here, Sweat Boxing, they're local. Hector runs the gym. He used to box for us, so I refer most of the adults over to his place.
We'll have him on the podcast. And again, what I see here, a lot of kids, a lot of them. I don't see any sad faces out there.
No, most of the kids they want to be here.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, even the kids in the fitness program, mom kid gets home after school, so Mom, we gotta go, I can't be late. But
Yeah, I heard you're on a tight ship.
Coach Don runs the tight ship. He's the one that runs the fitness program. I don't know. I used to be pretty hard on the guys, and even Coach Allen will say that. So you're kind of being easy on them. I don't know. I guess they all self-directed. I don't know.
No, like I said, growing up, I had somebody that helped give me some structure. My parents were great for what they, how they were brought up. And this is for me, this is going to be an open podcast. We're going to get into a lot of deep stuff at some point. I think it's important. I met just a few kids. I said kids. A few of them at the Texas Elite Boxing event a few weeks ago, and one that stood out to me, and I hope to get them on the podcast, was not going to mention names, but I saw his mom being the loudest in the room, being supportive.
Oh,
yeah, what I'm talking about. And God told me to go talk to her. At least how I interpreted it. I've never been able to really hear that, but it was just go talk to her. And I heard some stuff about just how he grew up and what that story was. And I think for me, hearing those types of stories helped me ground myself and have a perspective of, sometimes there's people out there that have a rougher life.
Oh, yeah.
But also, it's important to have that positive outlook of, even though they may be the person having the rougher life, but there's something to look forward to. And I think that you guys are giving them that, because his mom said that without boxing, he may not even be around, either on the streets or not on this earth. And that's really important. And yeah, it's boxing, and some people think it's barbaric, but in all reality, I know in the martial arts aspect of it, a lot of guys, folks, kids, guys, girls, it helps them kind of control some of those things. And when you see some of the kids come in with attitudes, how do you see that playing a role into their learning.
Well, so if you're in the boxing program, or the fitness program, you have to set an example for your peers. And I always tell the kids, when you mom or dad signs that waiver or that membership form, you see that logo right there, that's the Urban Police Athletic League. I run that program. So if you're at school and you get in trouble, that participant and him and I or her, we will have an individual one-on-one talk to see what's going on. So again, I tell them they're going to be setting examples for the peers, positive examples, not negative examples. Again, I've been doing this for over 30 years, and again, I have yet to have to kick somebody out because they're getting in trouble. Now I have kids that because for other reasons, yes, but not because they're getting in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important. I think on some primal level, I really don't feel like kids should be in a stone box 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I think at some point, you have some personality types that they just need something like this. They need to go to battle, or they need to have that physical exertion, or the mental aspect of it. For me, the mental aspect of jujitsu, it's getting in really bad positions all the time. I got my butt kicked for months, and learning what I'm capable of doing in bad positions helped me grow my confidence so much. And I'm sure it's the same with the kids. And never once, has it ever been to, okay, I'm going to be more aggressive or anything like that.
Right.
It gives you an opportunity to let some energy out, but also you realize, man, there's somebody bigger and badder out there sometimes.
Always.
You don't want to, you don't want to mess with the wrong person, especially when they have cauliflower ear. But yeah, I mean, again, I see a lot of positivity in the room, and taking some video, which we'll post as well, and seeing that, and when you see the kids coming out of the program, I'm sure you've kept in touch with some of them, especially now with social media. What's the biggest difference maker for both them going a positive way in life after the fact, and then I'm sure you've seen some go in the negative way, and how can we, as a outsider, how can we help those kids go? How can we get more people into the positive aspect of it?
So the kids that I've talked to, it's that workouts that they've put them through. Again, Evelyn, she was one of the kids that she once told me that, you know what, when I was going to medical school, it was tough. And she's like, you know what, physical fitness program that Coach Don and Coach Solis put us through, that was tough. If I can do that, I can do this.
That's awesome.
I never thought about it that way. I really, they're learning life skills. Again, it's not just about boxing. It's just because life is hard. Life is not easy. So that's one of the reasons, or the workers that we put them through. They're tough.
Yeah.
And I always tell kids when they sign up, it's not going to be easy, especially if you're not physically active. The first couple of weeks are going to be tough. Once you get used to it, you get a little easier. Yeah, that's when I talk to kids, it's that work as they would put them through. If I was able to do that.
And after the program too, as far as maybe you haven't kept in contact with them, but obviously you said outside influences, maybe not having something positive to look forward to in life. What do you think? Maybe a question that's tough to answer. What do you think is a goal, or again, what can we do as an outsider help some of the kids in the program after the fact? Again, I think, I feel like, okay, if they have goals and aspirations of doing something else in life, maybe going to college, or maybe being a cop. Do you ever see, when they're coming out of the program, that maybe they don't have that and they just kind of, go off in the wind?
No, most part, that I've been doing this again for over 30 years. I have kids that came through the program. Now they're adults. Now they're parents. Their kids are coming through our program, and they say, when I was a teenager, this kept me out of trouble.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing my son or my daughter, so they can, help them stay out of trouble. But again, it's not just, it's a community of dad, tears, the sponsors. I think it's a group effort. It's not. I'm not going to take all the credit, right? It's because the parents have to do something with it as well. Again, I think it's community group effort.
Yeah.
That the kids staying out of trouble or being successful.
And hopefully some of the parents see the change in their kids and maybe that it, gives them something to look forward to.
There was one kid this years ago. This one kid, he had all kinds of medical issues. He could not go up and down the stairs in the ring. He would literally have to sit down, push his way up. What are you doing? I can't. I said, "Okay, Ken." So little by little, but he was able to walk up and down, run up and down the stairs. It was just like, I never,
That's awesome.
the kid was, 10, 11 years old. Again, he could not walk up. Just the coordination wasn't there. But once he was able, it wasn't able to run. We used to go over at Rock Island. We'd have like a quarter mile. It was like almost 400 meters that we would run. Kid could not, he'd take off 200 meters and he'd walk. Again, months later, he's running laps. Like,
Wow.
if it wasn't,
That's awesome.
I mean, just the self-esteem again, and I'm not even talking about boxers, just the fitness program.
Yeah.
The stuff that they're able to do. I guess when they get here, they're not able to do push-ups, right? But again, a month
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
just the positive stuff that comes out of it. Do stuff like that. I'm like, I like that. I mean, I think that's say something.
Yeah.
Again, they're the ones doing the work. We're just trying to guide them and push them.
Yeah. We talked a lot about the PAL and what you guys do. What inspired you to get involved and what's kind of your background with the police department?
So I knew nothing about boxing. Sergeant Hammer asked me, he was running the boxing party, and back then I was an SRO, school resource officer, and he asked me if I could help. He taught me, and when I learned the boxing, I was like, man, I fell in love.
Yeah.
I was a football and a track star. I was not I mean, I watched boxing, but I really wasn't into it until again I joined the police department.
What inspired you to become an officer?
So I was doing I was an electrician by trade. I'm from West Texas. I was an electrician by trade when I got here. Went into the electrical force. But then back in the 80s, the construction business went down. My girlfriend at the time, my wife now, she was working for the Dallas County Sheriff's Department, pension officers. So I was working in the intake section. I met officers from a lot of departments, and they were asking me who really Spanish-speaking officers. I said, man, police officer, but
That's awesome.
I don't know, it just kind of happened. I'd be a police officer and running a police athletic league, like teams.
I've had those epiphanies multiple times. I'm only 37. I'm like, what am I doing here? I never thought I'd be sitting. I mean, I did last week.
It's man, it's just seeing the kids from they're 8 years old and now they're adults, just what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of them they'll come by and say hello, and they got kids with them, and it's I can choke up a little, but it's very rewarding.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I met one of the former amateur competitors. Said he, I guess, due to injury or just in general, but just asked him what he's doing. He seems to have a great job, loves what he's doing. Everybody I spoke with seemed to be pretty well adjusted. It sounds like a lot of them come out of the program a better person and continue that into their adult life. And again, I think it's really important and to extend more opportunities. As you said, you came from a service or a trades background, and I think that may be some. I'm big on. I think we need to have more trades in this country. We're at an electrician, a plumbing, and other trade shortage in the United States. And I was never. I didn't go to college. I knew. I couldn't study. I couldn't do homework. I knew I'd fail. It'd just be a waste of money. I planned on going to culinary school, but that didn't work out either. And so, again, I found what I love to do in the sales. And I think that just having the perspective of getting into some sort of career, at a younger age is really important. And, again, one of my goals is to connect with whether it's a sponsor of the podcast or the PAL. Rather than bring money right into the PAL, or in general, just finding mentorship programs or businesses that are willing to help some of the well-adjusted kids that come out and potentially explore a career, or in the grand scheme of things, if maybe college, other things. And so I think that's really important. And hopefully we can find some of those sponsors to help us out. And you also are part of the USA Boxing World as well. But how did you kind of work your way into that, and what do you do in that aspect?
So so I started out boxing, then as a coach. So now I got into the officiating. I'm a judge. So I'm also the president of the Southwestern Boxing Association. So I kind of run the president. So I have board members that help me association.
That's awesome. And that's multiple, I guess, boxers from all around that you get to meet and network and see.
I mean,
You're famous.
I used to work a lot on national tournaments, but because we had so many kids going to the nationals, I wasn't able to coach and rep at the same time.
Yeah.
So I just started coaching. But here, and also back then, a lot of the coaches weren't able to go. Again, my coaches are volunteers; they don't work it. So I would go, and I'm working the kids' corners. But here lately, a lot of my coaches are able to take off. This Robert Hernandez Senior. Since we started the boxing program, Robert Jr. boxed with us. Now Robert Jr. is a coach. Now we have Robert the Third. He's boxing. Now he just joined the Florida Police Department family. He's working as a detention officer for us. And he's still doing both, doing that and boxing at the same time. But I think eventually he'll probably end up helping coaching the kids.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, we've had kids that used to box for us, and now they're no longer boxing. Now they're helping me or helping the as coaches.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. And I didn't get to come on Wednesday, but I understand that there was a special event that happened on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, we had a mural done for Joe Ortiz. He's out of Grand Prairie. When he started boxing, he was boxing with us when he was a young kid. So we presented the mural.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Good, good, humble kid.
And he's currently
he's
champion. And WBC World Champion, came through the Irving PAL. And when's the next fight for him coming up?
I believe September.
Yeah, so
September.
we'll be covering the results of that most likely at that time. But I mean that's fantastic. I mean, having seen the you don't necessarily hear about the Irving PAL. You're famous. You got some pretty good stuff going on.
We've produced, I don't know how many. I've lost count how many national champions. But you know what? But there's other gyms around here in the Dallas area that have done the same thing. So again, I'm not going to take all the credit because they're putting the work. My coaches are putting in their time as coaches. Again, it's a community group effort.
Yeah.
Parents, coaches, sponsors, volunteers.
Yeah. And I grew up watching MMA as my the demographic, and then got into jiu-jitsu because I didn't want to be screaming at my TV and not having any clue what they were doing. Right? I don't like getting punched in the face. I don't know why you guys do, but whatever. What can you say about the current state of boxing? It seems it's in an outsider's perspective. Again, I didn't ever think that I would be in here on a Friday night, and I've been here the last couple Friday nights.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here.
And it's like I'm seeing this, and at the DFW Texas Elite show, I was excited. Like it was my adrenaline was going. I had more fun watching that than watching some of the pro fights on TV.
Yeah. It's not. People say boxing's dying. It's not dying. I think our numbers every year have gone up. I believe last year we had our numbers. I mean, our boxing participants numbers have gone up. Our coaches participants have gone up. club members. I think last year we had 80 something clubs. This year we're already like 92 clubs, I believe. So yeah, boxing's not done. It's going strong. We this year we pretty much have a boxing tournament, if not every weekend. So we don't like this weekend we won't have it because Memorial Weekend. I told my guys we're not going to have if it's a major holiday weekend, we're not going to have it.
It's a big ask.
Look, so Mother's Day weekend, we had 2 tournaments that weekend. Easter, we had a tournament on Easter weekend. Boxing's not done.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think combat sports in the United States, especially with jiu-jitsu, and I can't say jiu-jitsu is a combat sport, but I guess you could consider that. If you see the popularity going up, and I don't necessarily, I'm not a big proponent of telling kids that they should go out and do MMA. Jiu-jitsu is great. You're not getting punched in the face.
I wish I could do both. Kind of at the same time.
Yeah. So when is jiu-jitsu here?
We do it just do it twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay. And we'll hopefully I can be able to speak with one of those coaches at some point. But it's I think it's great. Again, I don't think that kids should go out and fight each other, right? But boxing it's going to the event. It was they're rivals, they're opponents, but I didn't see anybody getting mad at each other. You didn't see any out of the ring brawls or any kind of bad attitude or anything like that. I mean
after the fight,
they were shaking hands. Yeah.
I'm sure they go to the outside corner do the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like you could see that they're there. Obviously, they want to be there. There are some, you met a few that are they're wanting to go pro. They're wanting to go full force, and it's excellent. And again, from the outsider perspective, I mean, again, in my perspective was, boxing was dying. I think when you look for it, it's going to be there. Whether it's, even in the UFC, there's a women competitor, Juliana Pena, who started off doing cardio kickboxing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same thing, but it's like it was going from I'll get into this for fun and to lose weight, and then end up being a champion. So the passion takes over, and that's what I see with footwears. They're passionate. Obviously, they're passionate because they're stepping in a ring to get punched in the face. But it was really like uplifting, and it was really really positive to see that. Like I said, just being there in person, it was exciting. And so one of the things that I know is important is having folks come and watch. Are anybody able to come watch the competitors in the tournaments, or is it you have to have your kids in there?
No, it's open to the public.
Excellent.
Most tournaments $20 fee, $25 fee for adults. Yeah, no, it's open.
So folks can come and join in and come check it out. And so maybe in the future some sponsors will come and watch. We might have to give away some tickets.
Yep.
But so the next event that some of the competitors are going to be at.
So the next event that Irving Powell's hosting will be June 7th and 8th. It's a Masters tournament.
Masters.
But we will have some little kids, the Pee-wees, Bantams participate.
Okay. And the Masters, what would that be?
So the Masters is for the older division, the older guys. 35 on, I think the oldest participant is 72 years old.
Wow. Yeah. So how did they get involved with that program?
So we put out a flyer, and so we got into the Masters groups. So yeah, that's
okay.
Most people they're calling my cell number.
Okay, excellent. So and where's that going to be at?
It'll be held at the Southern Junction in Irving.
Southern Junction in Irving, June 7th and 8th. And tickets will be online.
No, buy them at the door.
Buy them at the door.
It's $25.
Okay.
For adults, 15 for teens.
Okay, excellent. And there's food, beverages, and everything. And that money is going to help support the Irving Powell.
So that goes to the Powell program.
Excellent.
It's in the summer. We call it in the summer bash. That'll be on August 17th and 18th, I believe.
Excellent.
That's our big tournament.
Okay.
That's strictly on just youth.
My birthday weekend. Yeah. Okay. And saying, where's that going to be at?
That'll be here.
Oh, here at the gym. Okay, excellent. So, everybody can check out the information for this to be online.
Yeah, check us out on
Facebook.
Instagram or Facebook. Hopefully, we'll get our website going, get it updated.
He's working on it.
Yeah,
He's working on it. But excellent. Now, hopefully, again, the sponsors will be able to watch this and get excited about what you're doing here. That was really the goal. I wanted to speak with you about what you're doing here and help get the sponsors looking at what you're doing and like you said, maybe there's some things that we could do better in the future as far as reaching out to them. But you're a very busy man.
At least acknowledge it.
Yeah. And that's excellent. I mean, you're doing immensely great work here, and all of the kids have nothing things to say about you that I've spoken with, and I feel like over the last couple of weeks, just speaking with them, I shot some videos for some of their Instagrams because
Nice.
they don't even post. I thought the kids posted. I guess it's all on TikTok. I'm not even on there yet. But they seem to be really
TikTok?
excited.
That's all.
TikToks and face spaces and everything. But and I think that you're seeing some of that energy of promoting themselves, and I know that it's important that they get that message out there. But I think we can help the Irving Cow by coming and just showing up, buying tickets, Southern Junction, supporting them, cheering on whatever your favorite color is, red or blue, and or just in general. And it's fantastic. I look forward to covering the events. I think I may be doing some interviews when they're coming out of the ring, speaking with some of them, and also doing some interviews with some of the kids too.
Nice.
So anything else to share? Anything I missed? No? Okay, excellent. Well, I appreciate you giving me some time, and again, check them out at Facebook, Instagram. Everything's getting worked on, but best thing to do is just come to the events, buy some tickets, tell your friends and family, and scream your head off in the seats. So,
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. See you next time. I got to get a clicker for this thing.